call this meeting to order. First item is the invocation delivered by Mr. Jackie Bob Martin. Everybody please stand.
National Digital Delante, Kopsayam, he said, Reto. Don't be handy, go to the like all. And the whole, don't be law, he stay like it. Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer this afternoon, thanking you for your kindness, your grace that you extend to us every day and meeting our needs this day. Thank you for those that are here tonight, the audience, council members, chief, vice chief, and others that you help us, guide us in a way that would be helpful to our tribal citizens, Cherokee Nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Martin. Roll call, please.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Audrey Connor. Kara Cowan. Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Mary Shirley. Here. John Garvin. Charles Hoskins.
Here.
William Johnson. John Keener. Jackie Bob Martin. Linda O'Leary. Here. Navon Shottown. David Thornton.
Present.
Phyllis Yargy.
We have 14 present. We have a quorum. First item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion is made, seconded. All approve, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. Next item is the State of the Nation, addressed by Principal Chief Chad Smith.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to appear in front of you this August 15th for our August State of the Nation and Council meeting. Before we get into the more serious parts of our agenda, let's take a moment of somber reflection to recognize our Cherokee citizens and friends who have passed from this life during this last month. A number of our staffs of relatives and our friends have passed. Hazel Chewy, Junior Buck Acorn, Christopher Leach, C.J. Leach, Marie Cornchucker, Ruby Duffield, and former Cherokee Nation Marshal Buck Patton. Let's remember all of them and others that I have not enumerated in our thoughts and prayers for a moment of silence. I've had the opportunity to hand to our council, and we can make these available to our audience, a DVD. And this is our youth choir when they went to Washington, D.C. and sang at the Smithsonian on the Mall, participated in the procession. Chuck Hoskins was with us and remembered that wonderful day. Also, they sang at the White House for the President. So that's on this DVD. And we had a bunch of them printed up to give away, so you're all welcome to those. In the news, we were challenged this last week on our tobacco compact. I want to refresh our memory as to the tobacco compact. Basically, in February 2004, we entered into a compact after having one for 10 years with the state. That compact, in short, provided for a new tax rate, which was based upon an excise tax on cigarettes and a sales tax at the state levy. We signed our compact, and within a month, the state government changed its mind and passed a law that waived sales tax on cigarettes. What that meant for our smoke shops is they lost half the tax advantage or more because of that waiver of sales tax. The tax went into effect in January, and since that time we've been working diligently with representatives of the state to renegotiate provisions to compensate for that breach. We thought we had an agreement close to being closed prior to the untimely death of Julian Fight, but now we understand that the state is not as willing to extend and live by even our second or last offer of 6 weeks ago. I say that all that to say this is that we have lived by our compact. Our word is good. We believe the state has breached that because of legislative action. But we're always earnest to try to resolve those differences and come up with a tax regime that's fair to the Indian country and fair to the state of Oklahoma. So we'll continue those negotiations, and when we can bring those to an end, we'll bring that resolution for the council for ratification. I'd like to share some kudos, some thanks, and some appreciation to the staff of the Cherokee Nation Early Head Start and Head Start. Every 3 years, Head Start, our grantees are audited by a team of federal reviewers, and I think there was 12 or 14 this year. And we recently received a letter from our funding agency that stated that Cherokee Nation Head Start had no findings, no deficiencies, and no adverse recommendations. Less than 1% of all Head Start programs have ever achieved this. Also in news of a different note, of our Sequoia High School cheerleaders went to competition in 2. Angel Navarro and Jessica Cornell made All-American squad and were invited to cheer at halftime at either the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, or the Hula Bowl in Maui, Hawaii, their choice. And if they're good Cherokees, they'll see which one OU's playing at. But it really shows the sense of growth and extracurriculars and leadership and spirit at Sequoia. Last year, you could have pushed me over with a feather after I realized that they had 20-something on their squad. They were doing phenomenal gymnastics. They had 6 or 8 of the biggest boys at Sequoia out there cheerleading with them. And it was just a great sight of what the staff is doing at Sequoia. We had an opportunity on July 16th at the Heritage Center to host our doctors and medical professionals for an evening of eating on the grounds and then taking them to the drama. And that was basically to show our appreciation to our health professionals. There's doctors and nurses and physician assistants and others that contributed and have brought our healthcare system a far, far way. In fact, at one time in the past, our hospitals and clinics were places of last resort. Now they're places of first choice because of the quality care. We just wanted to express our appreciation to them. The Cherokee Nation has plans to help its citizens reach its financial goals. The Cherokee Nation Individual Development Account Program can help families learn about finances and credit and save money and build their assets. And this is part and parcel of the overall philosophy we're trying to adopt at the Cherokee Nation, which is self-help. And I applaud the council. For about a year ago, we passed a law that required self-help in each one of our social service programs. And this is an example of that. The Cherokee Nation is hosting 3 IDA enrollment sessions for citizens who are interested in enrolling in the savings program. The first one is tonight and prior. The second one will be held in Stillwell on Tuesday, August 16th at 6 p.m. at the Cherokee Nation Career Services offices. And the third one will be in Tahlequah on Thursday, August 18th at 6 p.m. at the Cherokee Nation office complex in the community room behind the restaurant of the Cherokees. This is a great service for our citizens. For more information, you can contact Gina Martinez. The highlight of our evening is recognizing those Native Americans and Cherokees who have greatly demonstrated their patriotism. to not only the United States but to the Cherokee Nation. Each month, Deputy Principal Chief Joe Grayson Jr. and I have the honor to recognize a few of those citizens who are here tonight. And I would ask Ashley Shadone, or Miss Cherokee, if you'll come down and help us with this. I think this may be one of the last council meetings that you will have. We'll talk about Miss Cherokee contest here in a little bit. But I can remember Bobby, my wife, being Miss Cherokee I can't say how many years ago. But if Ashley's anything like her, it was a great time that she just hated to give up. So, our first military service honoree is Achota Lee West. Originally from Tulsa, West is a member of the Army National Guard. He joined the National Guard at the ripe old age of 17 years. He went through basic training during the summer between his junior and senior year of high school. He went into active duty in December of 2003 and was sent to Iraq in February of 2004. During his time in Iraq, Specialist West spent his time building huts, roads, disposing of enemy ammunition, and doing guard duty in a variety of locations. He served for a year in Iraq and returned in February of this year. Now 21 years of age, Wes is married with 2 small daughters. Let's present to you our appreciation for serving us and our country.
Appreciation, all the support. We really appreciate our letters.
Thank you. Our second military honoree is Royce Simmons, Sr. He served as a tech sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Force in World War II. Mr. Simmons was an airplane and engine mechanic. He was also an aerial engineer gunner. He completed 28 combat missions over Germany as part of the 332nd Bombardment Squadron. Mr. Simmons was awarded an Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, a Good Conduct Medal, 1 Overseas Bar, the European African Middle Eastern Campaign Service Medal, with 3 Bronze Battle Stars. He now resides in Black Gum, Oklahoma, with his wife, Roberta. Mr. Simmons is the father of Cherokee Nation employee Royce Simmons, Jr., and the grandfather of Cherokee Phoenix reporter Greg Simmons. Would you come forward, please? You will turn around and let's get your picture. Okay. Just come right up here. That's it. Right there. Care to say a word, please?
I would say thank you.
These are men of action, right? A few words. Thank you. For our community announcements, we've had some activity with our youth leadership programs, and we talk about leadership. And so our Miss Cherokee and Little Miss Cherokee and Junior Mr. and Miss Cherokees are actually leadership competitions. Sometimes we think about them in pageants, but they're an opportunity to develop leadership. And the new Little Miss Cherokees are in the 3 to 4 year old group. Shelby Turtle. Oh, she is here. Maggie Glory is the 5 to 7 year old Little Miss Cherokee. The new Little Mr. Cherokee is Daryl Patterson. He's 3 to 4 year old group. And Bradley Fields in the 5 to 7 year old. Miss Cherokee competition will be on August 27th at 7 p.m. at the NSU Ballroom. The competitors include Jessica Kunica from Tulsa, LaShawna Fields from Marble City, Laura Miller from Stillwell, Ashley Proctor from Salina, and Cassie Snell from Bonita, and Ashley Thirsty from Stillwell. And Ashley, if you don't mind, you want to say a word or two about your time as representing the Cherokee Nation?
I really enjoyed representing the Cherokee people. I look forward to the next girl and hope that when she goes places and represents, that she's embraced like I have been wanted by everyone. Thank you.
The team, the Tahlequah Fever, 8 years old and under, a slow-pitch softball team, won the national championship a few weeks ago in Clovis, New Mexico. The girls went undefeated 4-0 in the tournament. They won every game by the run rule. These guys are good. The girls are all Native Americans, so they won first place in the Tahlequah Cherokee County Girls Softball League with a record of 21-0. And they won first place in the state competition held in Seminole last month. We're very proud of these children. And Dusty Delso, our group leader and executive for education, his son, I think he's in the 12-year-old range, won the second place in the World Pee Wee competition in Puerto Rico last week. So we extend to them all of our appreciation and congratulations. Talking about ball fields, we need some help. We're building a very nice softball complex just west of here, and we need volunteers to help complete, putting up fences, painting, and such. It's one of our community spirit projects. If you reach Juanima Bush, she certainly can put you to work, and it's a lot of fun. Her husband, David Bush, has been out there welding every day, and I want to commend him because he's done a great job. The Cherokee Nation is hosting the Sequoia County Farm Show from 5 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 18th at the Sequoia County Fairgrounds in Sallisaw. For more information, call Steve Swarberty. In just 3 short weeks, we will be hosting the Cherokee National Holiday. It's a weekend packed with fun activities for the entire family. Included in the traditional games is a stickball exhibition match between the Cherokee Nation and the Mississippi Choctaws. Now, there's a misnomer in that because there can never be an exhibition game. Once you get on the field, it's a game. And they play the old style, and they're very skilled at it. They are very good. If you ever got a chance to go to Philadelphia, Mississippi, and watch during their fall festival, them play stickball, and they're world-class athletes. And so we're fielding a team, so anybody who would like to participate, they can pass and catch the ball with sticks, and can tackle and be tackled. We're practicing every Monday night until the holiday at 5:30 up to Sequoia. The parade will begin at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 3rd. The State of the Nation will immediately following after the parade at the courthouse. This year we will have our 2 congressmen from the Cherokee Nation as parade marshals, Dan Warren and John Sullivan. This year's theme celebrates the state of Sequoia. We will hold a conference about the state of Sequoia at our Catoosa Resort Hotel on Sunday and Monday, September 4th through 5th. For more information about this conference, please call Dr. Richard Allen. And to refresh our memories, the state of the Sequoia was when the Cherokees in 1905, with the other 4 of the 5 tribes, endeavored to create an all-Indian state, the state of Sequoia, to preserve our governments. Held a constitution, prepared a resolution, submitted that to Congress, which Congress denied, and combined Indian territory with Oklahoma territory for the state of Oklahoma. We hope you make plans to attend. That's the conclusion of my report for today.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Next item is an action of unfinished business. Item 1 is an act amending Legislative Act 1696. And these items were vetoed and tabled for this election. And all it takes to bring them back on the table is a simple majority vote. The nay vote will be to keep the action tabled. A yes vote is to bring it off the table. A yes vote is to bring it off the table. Is that understood?
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I move to take from the table Legislative Acts 2205 and 2405
and I present them for an override vote at this time.
I believe that's two actions. So we need to vote to take it off the table, and then if there's a second motion that needs to be entertained.
That's
to
correct. We have to
approve
vote to take it, yeah, we have to vote.
I will make that. I move to take from the table Legislative Act 2205 for an override vote.
Is there a second on that?
A second.
Motion's made and seconded. A roll call vote, please. Now remember that a nay vote was to, I have forgotten, but we'll start again.
Leave it on the table.
A nay vote was to leave it on the table. A yes vote was to bring it off the table and to be discussed.
Bill England. Bill John Baker.
Yes.
Audra Connor.
Yes.
Carrie Cowan.
Yes.
Joe Crittenden.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
Yes.
John Garvin.
Yes.
Charles Hoskin.
Yes.
William Johnson. John Keener.
Yes.
Jackie Bob Martin.
Yes.
Linda O'Leary.
Yes.
Nirvana Shophouse.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Phyllis Yargi.
Yes.
The vote was unanimous. Ms. O'Leary, I will entertain a motion to vote on this.
Okay. Yes, I make a motion that we cast a vote on this council.
Second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Cowan?
Clarification on the motion. What's the motion that we're going to do? Is it to override the veto?
It's
I will. It is to, the yea vote is to override the veto. A nay vote is to sustain the veto. A nay vote is to sustain the veto. A yea vote is to override the veto. That understood. Roll call vote, please.
Bill John Baker.
Yes.
Audra Connor.
Yes.
Carrie Cowan. No. Joe Crittenden.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
No.
John Garvin.
No.
Charles Hoskin.
Yes.
William Johnson. John Keener.
Yes.
Jackie Bob Martin.
No.
Linda O'Leary.
Yes.
Nirvana Shophouse.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Phyllis Yargi.
Yes.
The veto. Yes,
Bill
Mr.
England, I'm sorry, Bill England.
We need a vote of 10 to override the veto, and the veto is sustained. The vote was 9-5. Second item in action of unfinished business act amending Legislative Act 1601. Do I hear a motion on that to bring it off the floor?
Mr. President,
Sure.
I'd move to bring this from the table, this legislative act 2405.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. We'll go the same with this. A nay vote will keep it on the table. A yea vote will bring it up for discussion, bring it off the table. A yea vote to bring it off the table. Mr. Martin.
I'm confused.
Yes, sir. We have to, Jackie Bob, we have to vote to bring it off the table, and then we have to vote to either sustain or override.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, please.
Audra Connor.
Yes.
Carrie Cowan.
Yes.
Joe Crittenden.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
Yes.
John Garvin.
Yes.
Charles Hoskin.
Yes.
William Johnson. John Keener.
Yes.
Jackie Bob Martin.
Yes.
Linda O'Leary.
Yes.
Nirvana Shophouse.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Phyllis Yargi.
Yes.
Bill England.
Yes.
Bill John Baker.
Yes.
The vote was unanimous. Now, I'll entertain a motion to sustain, or override the veto?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All. A nay vote will be to sustain the veto. A yea vote will be to override the veto. Or is that clear? A yea vote to override, a nay vote to sustain.
Chairman,
Sir.
this particular override has to do with the referendums and initiatives and setting procedures and a crime for people that misuse it or use it. I think this is something that is healthy for this government to do. I realize we just overrode the legislation that would keep the enterprises from participating in Cherokee elections, which I thought was good for the people as well. But I would encourage anybody and everybody to vote yes on this issue.
Any other questions? Ms. Callan.
Mr. President, thank you. First, on that last piece of legislation, our companies have done nothing to violate any state or federal campaign finance laws. And under those laws, they cannot contribute to individuals anyway, which is more of what that legislation targets. So our Cherokee Nation PAC, which is Political Action Committee, which is this council's subcommittee, did contributions. Otherwise, it was state questions, which our businesses required in order to facilitate business. So since that was mentioned, I feel like I need to address that. There's no need for that last piece of legislation. It's unnecessary. And if you have any questions about those campaign contributions, you can request those through the Freedom of Information Act at Cherokee Nation, as well as through the online sites and state offices and federal offices that maintain financial contribution information. On this piece of legislation concerning our initiative or the referendum measures, or whether or not you can petition to move for legislation or change legislation, this existing legislation that we have that we operate under for our tribal citizens is similar to, it's reflective of the current state of Oklahoma codes for creating petitions and those things. It does not differ. So I am struggling with why we want to change and allow people in our community access to people's date of birth or social security numbers or anything that might be misused in any way in a time when we have concerns about people's personal information and records being misused for financial reasons and things. So there's no way that I can support this. Initially, I supported it out of committee, but after talking with several of my constituents, I realized that this was something I could not pass. It was not something, why mess with something that already works? Thank you.
I sponsored the legislation that's in question about the contribution. And what you people need to understand is we got numerous calls from our constituents, our folks out in the community that had a question about why are millions being given to a campaign that we didn't know about, that by statute, by our fiduciary duty, it is to come before the council for approval. We are the keepers of the people's money, and that's what we are elected to do, and that's what we failed to do in not passing this contribution campaign legislation. The point in question is that the people didn't know about the contribution. We didn't know about the contribution until we read it in the newspapers. Now, that's a sad state of affairs when this council is not informed of millions of dollars that's being given as a contribution. When we, as I said, we are the people, keepers of the people's money. We have a responsibility to answer back to our constituents. And I've said about that. I think everybody understands that. On the Referendum Act, this only empowers you, the people, the public. What this says is you have a voice in how your government is run, what you have a problem with, what is brought to a referendum that you can vote on, that you can legislate when you have a problem that's falling on deaf ears. This is your recourse, people. This, to take away from you, is taking away your involvement in your rights. is what this amounts to. And as we sit here as a legislative body and fail to act on this referendum, we are doing an injustice to you, our constituents out there, and to ourselves. Thank you.
Mr. President, for the audience's sake, I hope that they understand what we're debating about. You already have a voice in a referendum petition. This council passed a legislative act a few months ago that defined, Ms. Cowan mentioned a while ago, the council worked for months to put this legislation together, and there's nothing wrong with it. I can't support the legislation that is now on the table. Thank you.
Mr. Ridley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to, I made me some notes here. I'd like to read them. They're pretty short. This is the first power reserved for the people to make or change laws in the Cherokee government. I think we should do all that is possible to make this process open and accessible to all Cherokees. This is my only objective with this. The veto deals with privacy issues. However, the information required is a birth date and address. This is the same information that is required by the state of Oklahoma on their petitions. Also the same information required on applications we have to Cherokee Nation. I find it hard to believe this information would be used to steal someone's identity. Also the verification of signatures, that's always been, as far as I know, something the Election Commission does. And it's that way under the current law. I think we ought to welcome our people into the election process, not shun them away. We have voter apathy now. Look at the turnout the last election. We have people leaving our tribe. I feel that more and more of our members are reaching the point where they say no one cares, we can't get anything done, we have no say in our government. There's not much more I will add at this time. It comes down to whether we trust the people or we don't trust the people. Cherokee people elected me and us. Many are our friends and family. I trust them. Let's empower the people and make their government a government of, by, and for the people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Mr. Thornton.
This is a referendum set forth and set aside for the Cherokees that vote, is what this referendum is for. And there's one thing, it's not for all the Cherokees out there, it's for the people that vote. It's also, the other referendum required a voter's identification number to be put on that referendum petition. That enhanced, protected these petitions from having so much fraud in them like we just got through going through 3 years ago. And I can't be for this as long as that number's not up there. That's the way I feel about it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Call for questions.
I've thought a lot about this. Last time I made the comment about my concern on identity theft, and you mentioned the Cherokee number, and someone else mentioned they didn't think this information, that people would use this information for identity theft, like your birth date. Well, as you know, we have a crisis in illegal immigration. Recently, I read where in Arkansas, the companies there were audited and they were found to be hiring and employing illegal immigrants. And their argument against that was, well, we didn't know that they were illegal. They had Social Security cards, they had driver's license, they had personal identification cards, and they got that information. It was stolen. And checking with the Federal Trade Commission, one of the things they recommended that's not to use personal information is your birth date. And this legislation requires that. And the legislation we have, it allows people to vote. I don't understand that argument. And I truly believe using personal information, such as a birth date, gives identity thieves more access to personal information. That no process is perfect. Someone made the comment that, well, it's the people's responsibility to protect their identity. That's true, it is. However, we as legislators, it's our responsibility to ensure that we have a process that will help minimize the risk of identity theft. And for that reason, Joe, and I appreciate again the hard work you've done on this, but I just can't support it for that. That's the major reason. And but again, I appreciate what you've done.
Okay, the question's been called. To override the veto is a yea vote. A nay vote is to sustain the veto. A yea vote is to override the veto. A nay vote is to sustain the veto. Roll call vote, please.
Carrie Cowan? Nay. No. Joe Crippen?
Yay.
Meredith Fraley?
No.
Don Garvin?
No.
Charles Hoskin?
Yes.
William Johnson? John Keener?
Yes.
Jacob L. Martin?
No.
Linda O'Leary?
Yes.
Nirvana Shoptown?
Yes.
David Thornton?
No.
Phyllis Yarngy? Yes. Bill England?
No.
Joe John Baker?
Yes.
Audrey Connor?
Yes.
The veto is sustained. The vote was 8-6. It took a vote of 10 to override the veto. And now we move on to committee reports. First is the Housing Authority. David Sutherland.
Good evening. I have a brief report this evening. Housing Authority's regular board meeting for August that was originally scheduled for tomorrow evening has been moved to the 23rd in order to get a quorum. It will be at 5:30 on the 23rd in the Allen Hogner Conference Room. We will have a short agenda with the focus being on one item. Several months ago, we contracted for a salary survey and received the results just before the last board meeting. Excuse me for my voice. I'm about to go on me. Excuse me. At July's board meeting, the board indicated they wanted ample time to consider the report, so they tabled the matter until our August meeting. Representatives from HUD were in last week to perform a review of the Housing Authority and the tribe. They spent most of their time at the tribe but did not finish their review. They have indicated they will return the first week of September. Probably won't get a report for another 45 days after that or so. I don't have a whole lot to report tonight, so I will give you some statistics. We currently have 226 employees, 98% of which are Native American. We have 2,234 homes under management. 99% of those are occupied. We have 940 low-income apartments under management. 90% of those occupied. We have approximately 1,500 rental assistance vouchers issued. And finally, we have 1,983 families participated in the Community Shield risk pool for homeowners coverage. That's my report for this evening. If anyone has a question.
Any questions?
Mr. President, thank you. David, would you bring those statistics to us on paper?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, please.
Sure will.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Next is Cherokee Nation Enterprises. Mr. David Stewart. We have Gino Olaya taking his place tonight.
Mr. Stewart had a previous engagement that he couldn't get out of, so he asked me to do the report this evening. As you all are well aware by the financial report that we provide every month, we continue to produce sound financial results at all of our CNE locations. With regard to total Native American employment, CNE is at 68.5% at the end of July. Regarding the status of construction projects, the scope of West Siloam and Roland are currently still being developed, and Will Rogers Downs is coming along beautifully. I encourage each and every one of you to go out and look at the facility as it's being developed. It's absolutely beautiful. The status of gaming, electronic gaming, there is still pending with the Oklahoma Horse Racing Commission, and that item was tabled at the last meeting, and then the next meeting they'll bring it back up for consideration. That's my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them or get an answer back.
Mr. Thornton.
I'd like to know if you all are going to start a program that gives incentive to our Cherokees to speak Cherokee within our casinos, that would give them additional wages if they know how to speak Cherokee.
I will take that back to the Human Resources Group for consideration.
I think the Cherokee Nation has that program also. And I'd like to see it put into effect throughout, if we can do that. Also, these supervisors that supervise these casinos, these city councils have a meeting once a month, and I'd like to see them start attending that meeting and get to know these city councils a little better within their district, within where they're working, like Roland is, for Roland Casino. And of course, Fort Gibson would be for casino over there. Tahlequah would be for the one here. But these people need to get to know the people in that community, and that would be a good way to start. Another thing is furnishing the fire departments and the police departments a floor plan of that casino might help out when they really need help. If you have a fire, if you have something that happens there, that if somebody tries to blow the place up or something, if I get those firemen in there and make it safe for them and safe for the people that's there. And I'd like to see you kind of work with them also, because I know, like Roland, they've got over $1 million worth of fire equipment. And they can certainly help and be right there within a certain matter of minutes if needed some help.
Well, I appreciate all of your recommendations, and I will take them back to Sandy. Welcome.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Next, we have Cherokee Nation Enterprises. Mr. Jim Majewski.
I need to work on all of you as Cherokee Nation Industries, but that's okay. Good evening, Principal Chief Smith and Deputy Chief Grayson and members of the council. Total sales for the month, total C&I sales for the month of July were about $6.5 million, with profitability of about 5% of sales. Backlog continues to be strong in the $50 million range. Our forecast for the next 12 months indicates that sales could be as large as $150 million. C&I is to receive the 2005 Supplier of the Year Award at the Oklahoma Minority Enterprise Development Award Dinner this Thursday evening in Tulsa, August 18th at 6 p.m. I would also like to invite Chief Smith, Deputy Chief Grayson, and members of the council to the C&I Company Picnic that's scheduled for September 10th, this Saturday, September 10th, from 10 to 2 p.m. at the C&I Stillwell property. We've also have a new VP of Operations at C&I, Mr. Brian Collins. Brian comes to us from our sister company, C&E. Our next board meeting is scheduled in Stillwell on August 25th at 9:30 a.m. And this concludes my report.
Any questions? Any questions? Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Next, we have Cherokee Nation Businesses. Mr. Jim Carrington. Is there anybody representing C&B?
Good evening. I'm Callie Catcher, and I'm representing Cherokee Nation Businesses. Our
Our subsidiary, Cherokee Connects, is continuing to focus on their marketing plan to add additional customers. As you may remember, the network went online in January, so the build-out for the Tulsa network is complete, and now the focus is on marketing and bringing customers online. We issued the request for proposals for rural tower construction, which is being funded 85% by a grant through the USDA. The business advisory team, which CNB coordinates, has reviewed 3 investment opportunities and made recommendations to the sponsoring entities' boards. All of the council members and Principal Chief Smith and Deputy Chief Grayson should have received an invitation to an informational meeting that's being held in Catoosa on August 18th, and that is to brief council on a new investment opportunity that CNB is proceeding forward with. There's currently 37 projects in various stages of completion with our business development team. Those projects are initiated by all 3 of the entities, CNI, CNE, and CNB. We are working on a new tracking and reporting system, which I'd mentioned at our Executive and Finance Committee, so we should have a more detailed report for you at the next meeting. CNB's next board meeting is August 31st at 10 a.m., and I'd like to invite all the council members that can to attend that. And that's my report. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to address them.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Callie, and forgive me for forgetting.
No problem.
Next, we have old business. And the number 1 is an act amending Legislative Act 797. And it was tabled for this meeting, and I will entertain a motion to bring it off the table.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda for a resolution relating to the financing project of the Muskogee, Salisaw, and Millwater clinics and the completion of the Sequoia High School facility. I put that in the form of a motion.
Second the motion.
Motion made, second for that one resolution. That's number 8. Item of old business. The act amending Legislative Act 797, and I would entertain a motion to bring it off the table. Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor of amending the agenda? Aye. All those opposed, no? Sir, motion carried.
Under the old business on the election laws, there's a little bit of confusion. I was of the opinion that we had given the election commission 60 or 90 days to look over and come back with any other ideas before we pass this. So with that, I'd move that we leave it on the table until such time as we get with the election commission.
Second.
Motion made, second that we table this. And I don't think we even have to vote on this. It automatically goes to the table. Am I correct?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if there's been an official vote to bring this matter from the table first.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it hasn't. We haven't voted officially, but I don't believe we need a vote to table it.
No, the matter, it's under old business on the agenda. It's part of the agenda, but it's a tabled matter. So therefore, you need a vote, number 1, to bring it from the table or leave it on the table.
Okay.
One of the two, and that will satisfy both options.
On the table.
The vote was to leave it on the table. Ms. Callan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Because the agreement coming out of committee was that we would go ahead and pass what we've been working on for almost 2 years now. And then in the October rules meeting, there would be additional amendments like military personnel, active military personnel's ballots, a couple other issues brought forward as separate amendments to the election law. So what I'd like is to offer a friendly amendment that this come on the November council meetings, full council meetings agenda, and be tabled until such time.
I would accept.
Motion made, second. Let me write this down. Motion's made, second. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Tabled until the November meeting. Next item is new business. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing the Department of Children and Youth and Family Services to submit a contract. Ms. Shothouse.
This is a contract renewal between Cherokee Nation and the Oklahoma Office of Juvenile Affairs for an amount of $156,247, and I'll put that in form of motion.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 2 is a legislative act amending Legislative Act 3704. Ms. O'Leary.
Yes, that's budget mod 11, and it includes 14 budgets and increases the spending authority to approximately $7.9 million. And I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded. Any questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Joe Crittenden?
Yes.
Mary Friday? Yes. John Garvin?
Yes.
Charles Hoskins?
Yes.
William Johnson? John Keener?
Yes.
Jackie Martin?
Yes.
Linda O'Leary?
Yes.
Ron Shottown?
Yes.
David Gordon?
Yes.
Bill Sharkey? Yes. Bill England?
Yes.
Bill John Baker?
Yes.
Audrey Carter?
Yes.
Terry Collins?
Yes.
Vote is unanimous. The act passed. Item number 3 is a legislative act repealing and superseding Cherokee Nation law regarding labor. I have several sponsors on this. Who's? Go ahead, Audra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this is some amendments made to TARO legislation is basically what this act deals with, and what we're looking at, what this committee has done, worked on for the past several months is we had a public hearing and got vendors and contractors to come in and let us know what they feel like need to be fixed within the system so that more of our TARO contractors would be able to make successful bids on jobs and things like that. What we tried to do was look at everything and put more teeth into this legislation so that all of those can be carried out, both by the tribe and by those contractors and vendors. So with that, I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second, with a friendly amendment.
Sure.
Okay. The second, with the friendly amendment, on section 27, pass those out. I would offer the friendly amendment that on section 27, we have an A that would read, any party to a hearing shall have the right to appeal any decision of the board of the Employment Committee of the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council. The Employment Committee shall consider the decision of the Employee Appeals Board and either confirm or deny the decision. Either party may appeal the decision of the Employment Committee to the Cherokee Nation District Court. B, any party to a hearing may elect to appeal the decision of the Employee Appeals Board directly to the Cherokee Nation District Court, notwithstanding Section A, Title 27 of this Act. C, the Cherokee Nation District Court shall hear appeals under this Act as trial de novo. And if you'd accept that friendly amendment. I second it.
You'll second it.
No, I second it and offer the friendly amendment.
Any questions or discussion? questions or discussion?
Call the question.
Call the question.
Mr. President,
Questions been called, sorry. Roll call vote, please.
Point of order. Point of order, Mr. President.
Sir.
The question has been called for. But if I understand the Robert Rules of Order, question cannot be called for till all members of the legislative body have an opportunity to speak. And we haven't had that opportunity. I'd like to ask our attorney's opinion on that.
Under Robert's Rules of Order, question can be called at any time, and that's been the process that we've had. Mr. Hoskins was an earlier victim of the question being called while he had a comment waiting, so it's appropriate to make the motion to call the question.
Todd is correct. Question can be called at any time. I'm sorry, Don.
Mr. Chairman. Todd, I think we have to vote to see if it's going to be, just because somebody calls for it, it has to be voted on.
In order to facilitate, the free form of debate, there's a question. Normally, the question is not called until debate takes place or a certain part of it. However, that doesn't defeat the fact that a question has been called and it has been seconded. Now, you can appeal the decision of the chair, and if the majority does not agree with the chair, then debate's open again, because the motion to call the question would in effect be overridden.
I will entertain a motion to override the question. Call for the question.
Mr. President, I would like to clarify something. Does it take the majority of the council to override the question, call for the question if we vote on it?
Yeah, the motion would be to override the chair, the appeal decision of the chair, and that requires a majority vote to override the chair.
This time to override the chair to opening it back up for debate.
Second motion.
A yea vote will be to override. A nay vote will be to stay with the question. Roll call vote, please.
Meredith Fraley.
yes.
John Garvin.
Yes.
Charles Hoskins.
Yes.
William Johnson. John Keener.
Yes.
Jacob L. Martin.
Yes.
Linda Leary.
No.
Melvin Shawcouch.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
Phyllis Yargy.
Yes.
Bill England.
Yes.
Bill John Baker.
Yes.
Roger Connor.
Yes.
Kara Fallon.
Yes.
Joe Crittenden.
Yes.
Vote is unanimous. We will continue with debate. Any other questions? Mr. England.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, like Audrey said earlier, we worked on this act for probably more than right at 2 years now, and we've hashed it out in committee and everything else, and this piece of paper just flew right up here in front of us at the last minute. At this time, I couldn't support this because this was some of the stuff that we debated in committee. We voted it out of committee without this in there. It was debated in committee, and so I could not at this time support passing this act with this amended version in here. So that's.
Any other questions? Ms. Connor.
Prior to our meeting, I was approached by Mr. Baker to ask if he could look at some kind of more or less an agreement between administration and this employment committee. prior to this evening, it was the administration's stand that this employment committee or this council not be a part of any appeals process when it comes to the tariff vendors and contractors. Not everyone was happy with that that left the committee meeting. So that's why this has been introduced, and that's why it's being discussed. This offers an either or, as Mr. Baker explained to me. I feel like we need to get to a point where everyone is totally satisfied with this legislation. And when we walked in here this evening, several weren't. Therefore, I just feel like it's out of fairness that we are able to discuss this and look at it and not totally take the council out of the loop in this process. I've had very mixed emotions about this, and I think we need to, again, this is, taking some of the power away from the folks who put us here. So I just ask that we look at it, and of course it'll come down to the vote. So with that, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in all fairness, in the committee, I offered this friendly amendment or one very similar to it, and it was not accepted by the motioner and the second, and it did not get a fair debate, and so my only choice was to bring it to the floor.
Well, I would entertain a motion to table this until the next meeting, until everybody can discuss
You have a
this.
motion to second.
Mr. President, I believe a table would supersede that, considering that we've spent a year of our time, and with all due respect to some of the council people at the table, we did vote this down in committee, and for good reason. If Congress or Senate were allowed to hear vendors and contractors, we would be even in a bigger mess than we are with the federal government or state. And there's various legal reasons why this body should stay out of any legal proceedings. Not to say that we can't have hearings and should not have hearings, but that's different than what this legislation's amendment by Councilman Baker is calling for. So I move this time to table until the next council meeting.
Second.
Point of order. I'd like the legal expertise on that, Todd.
I believe a table overrides another motion on the table.
Mr. President?
Sir.
I believe we're open for discussion, and some of us haven't had our instance work. I can support this legislation, I think, with the addition of this handout. The only thing I'd like to see added in addition to that, I'd like to put our entities under tariff. I'd like to see the tribe get hip deep in supporting tariff. And that's just a comment.
Thank you. The tariff legislation that we're debating now, I really don't feel like it has an avenue for our tariff vendors, our Native American vendors, to have a avenue to go to be heard. With these amendments, it allows for that avenue for our tariff vendors that feel like that they have received some type of injustice to go to an avenue where they are heard. Just recently, we've had 2 tariff vendors that came to several of us on the council that has had problems, and they have filed a complaint, so I hear. That's grapevine, but I believe that to be the case. And this tariff legislation passed as is without the amendment is not legitimately recognizing the rights of our tariff vendors, and I think that's what we as a council need to take a real hard look at and protect our Native American tariff vendors. And I agree with Joe as far as the tariff being also incorporated in our tribes' businesses also. But that's why this legislation is really important. we're here to protect our people. And that's with these amendments, that's what this legislation will do. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Calvin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Even under our existing legislation, and any tribal citizen, including tribal council, can get the legislation and read it in entirety, and it says that you have the right to file grievances. There's that opportunity under the existing legislation. Now, obviously, we've just spent a year already trying to strengthen this, provide more avenues for our tribal citizens and other Native American vendors under TARO to provide them more opportunity in that program for preference and other things that TARO does under that legislation. So we recognize that the existing legislation has weaknesses, but to say that there's no avenues for folks to file grievances or systems, even under the existing legislation, I think is misleading. So if this is very important to you, I invite you to our debates where we've had this, because obviously we're going to continue debating this, and it's going to be on the table. But there is commitment from the majority of these council people here to make sure that proper preference is given to TARO vendors or in Indian preference in the way we do business at not only our Cherokee Nation as a tribal entity, but all our other entities under Cherokee Nation, such as CNE, CNI, and CNB. So this is complicated, but I'm telling you, most of the council people at the table are educated in the legislation that's been proposed since then as amendments, and can talk to you candidly about what you are and are not able to do as a TARO vendor to file any grievance and such. Thank you.
Mr. President.
I just want to make a statement for the record that a question or a motion to table does supersede opinion motion on the floor.
Just one more comment, Mr. President. Comment.
Point of order, we need to vote on the table.
Comment, please. I just want to comment on this referendum legislation as it is. We have the sponsor of this legislation that has accepted a friendly amendment. And there are certain people here that feel like that this is in the best interest of our vendors, our TARO people, and anyone that wants to in the future become TARO vendors and be represented here. And I just see this legislation as needing to go forward at this time. I know we'll table it, but this is legislation that is good legislation as long as the amendments are included. And I just want to spell that out to you folks. Thank you.
The motion was made and seconded to table.
Yes, it's table. No, it's not.
Yes.
Roll call vote.
No, it's to not.
No, it's to not table. Yes, it's to table.
Roll call vote, please.
Sean Costin,
No.
William Johnson, John Keener,
No.
Jacob L. Martin,
Yes.
Linda O'Leary,
No.
Giovanni Shopkout. No. David Thornton,
No.
Phyllis Yargy,
Yes.
Bill England,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
No.
Audra Connor,
No.
Kara Cowan,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
No.
Meredith Braley,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Call for the question.
Took a simple majority, and we will go proceed and vote on the question. Okay. Yay? Sir.
Who made the motion for this question to accept this amendment? Who seconded?
I'm seconded with the friendly amendment.
You can't second your own friendly amendment, can you?
I seconded with a friendly amendment. She accepted the friendly amendment, and I seconded it.
second the motion, can you accept it?
Yeah, basically what occurred is that his second was conditional on her accepting the friendly amendment as the author or sponsor of the legislation.
That was the motion.
He said, "I will second this for passage with this friendly amendment." You know, conditional, it was a conditional second. She accepted the friendly amendment, the second stands.
We will vote on the legislation. On the passage with the amendment. Roll call vote, please.
John Keener,
Yes.
James L. Martin, Linda O'Leary,
Yes.
Lavon Shophouse,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Phyllis Yargy,
No.
Jill England,
No.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Audra Connor,
Yeah.
Kara Cowan,
No.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Mary Craig.
We have a process with this legislation where the person can go to the Employee Appeals Board, and then they can appeal that decision to the district court. That's the way it's written without the amendment, correct? But Bill John, you want to put the
They have a choice at that point,
employment committee in between the appeals board and the district court?
unless they want to go around it. If they want to go direct to court, they can.
No.
Don Garvin, Charles Hoskin,
Yes.
Bill Johnson.
The act passed 8-6. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the Office of Environmental Programs to submit an application. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. This application is for the development of an EPA-sponsored radon outreach project to provide Cherokee Nation and member tribes of the Intertribal Environmental Council with information on the health risk of radon gas. Education outreach will be performed in tribal communities. The grant application is for $60,000 and there is no match, and I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing Environmental Programs Group to submit an application to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. The fund will be utilized for monitoring toxic air pollution at the Cherokee High Tribal Community near Pryor in Mays County. Funding agency, U.S. EPA, grant amount $165,000. No match required. Move for approval.
Motion is made, seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 6 is a resolution confirming nomination of Jason Soper, Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. Ms. Fraley.
Nominated Jason Soper to serve on the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. And as you can see by his resume here, he's duly qualified. He has an MBA from the University of Tulsa, a law degree from Oklahoma University, and a wealth of experience as an attorney. And I would move to approve this nomination.
Motion made, seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Is Mr. Soper in here tonight?
Thank you. Briefly, Principal Chief Smith, thank you for your nomination. Members of the council, I appreciate your affirming votes, and I'm excited to be appointed to this position, and I look forward to serving the interest of the Cherokee Nation and its people throughout my tenure there. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 7 is a resolution confirming the renomination of Bart Fight. Ms. Fraley.
The renomination of Bart Fight as a judge in the Cherokee Nation District Court, and we're all familiar with his qualifications, and it's for a period of 4 years, and I would move for approval.
Motion's made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Roll call vote, please.
Jacob Bob Martin? Yes. Linda O'Leary? No. Yvonne Cockhouse? Yes. David Gordon?
Yes.
Paul Georgie? Yes. Bill England?
Yes.
Bill John Baker?
Yes.
Audrey Carter? Yes. Karen Cowan? Yes. Joe Crittenden?
Yes.
Mary Fraley?
Yes.
John Garvin?
Yes.
Charles Hoskins?
Yes.
William Johnson? John Keener?
No.
Motion carried. 12-2. Mr. Fight in the room.
I believe he's here.
Okay. Move on to item 8, was the resolution introduced by Ms. O'Leary.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a resolution declaring the intent of the Cherokee Nation in connection with the issuance of bonds by the Cherokee Nation for the payment of or reimbursement of expenditures for upgrades and renovations of health care clinics in Oblata and Salisal and in the construction of the health care clinic in Muskogee. I put that in form of a motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Next, we move on to announcements. Are there any announcements? Ms. Shophouse.
I want to invite everyone to the 52nd Annual Shop House Hog Ride, which is located west of Jay. If you get to Jay, you can find your way out there. And y'all come out and you can eat. It's at 12 o'clock. We'll start serving at 12:30, and you can eat till it runs out. Thank you.
Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have some distinguished people from my district here tonight I'd like to introduce. I have a brother and sister sitting here on the front row, Corey and Shayla Bunch from the Great Peavine community.
You stand, please.
Have another guest, and when you get to my age, you can't remember his wife's name half the time, but the gentleman sitting on the back row, Mr. Mink, in spite of his handicap things, he had accomplished a lot of great things, so serve a hand.
Any other announcements? Mr. Garvin.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce a couple from District 4, Mr. Joe Haley over here. Senator Joe, Ms. Also, from District 4, Mr. Dearwater is walking out. I'm going to introduce him.
Chief Smith.
Jack, you may not know that, but Mr. Mink now works for us as our graphic artist. It was very good.
Any other announcements? Ms. Fraley.
Cherokee Queen for the year range, and so probably the first from Main County.
Were there any more announcements? Yes, Audra.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Keener, I was a little at one slight correction. You have had a Miss Cherokee before, actually, for Mason County, about 1980 something.
I'd like to recognize Miss Cherokee's mom, Sandra Downing.
Any more announcements?
Mr. President.
Sir.
This is most important.
Mr. President, I'd like to just make a statement that 1 week ago today, the Cherokee Nation got a new citizen, the birth of my granddaughter. So my father and my son, and of course my daughter-in-law. So thank you. That's just an announcement. Very important announcement.
Any other announcements? Before I adjourn, I would like to introduce my wife, Gwen. And his fiance, David Bunch. I'm entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I promise not to do this, but I'm engaged to be married November 19th, and he's sitting right there in
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye. All opposed, no. Any adjourned?